Hey guys, I'm back today with my third trimester. If you hear the TV in the background, Shylah's awake today, so you may hear her as well. So don't be alarmed. So third trimester. The third trimester was filled with a lot of tears, a lot of hormones, a lot of doctor's visits, a lot of scares. There she goes. And just a lot of uncertainty, anxiety, everything you could think of, every emotion you could think of, it was in my third trimester. So let's start. So more fibroids were found in my third trimester, but they posed no threat against Shylah. They just kept a close eye on it to make sure that they didn't grow too big or in the way of Shylah's development. There was a lot more shortness of breath. It became more frequent and more random, so that was a bit scary for both Adrian and I. But all I would do, I would just lean on the wall or lean on Adrian to catch my breath, and then I'll be okay after that until the next episode. Shylah became very heavy on my ankles. It was very, very hard to walk without pain. Again, like I told you in my previous videos, I had to walk with a cane, and even more so now, just because of the weight on my ankles. And then at one of my appointments, the doctors thought I may have had gestational diabetes because of the amount of amniotic fluid that they saw. But thank God it turns out that I didn't. However, that orange cola that you have to drink to test for gestational diabetes, that made me very sick, very, very sick. A lot of pain. It gave me a lot of pain, a lot of diarrhea, a lot of vomiting, dizziness. Every symptom that's on that bottle, or if you Google it, I endured that for about 2 days. I had a home nurse the whole time. She would come every week to check in on me or to talk about anything I wanted to talk about. And one of our sessions in the third trimester, she checked for depression and anxiety, and I scored very high on both of those scales. But I knew I was, because I knew every day I was crying, every day I was hormonal, and I was very, very anxious about everything. And then I would just pray that Shylah would not exceed her due date, because it was just getting harder and harder to carry her, and I did not want to get her induced. I really wanted to for her to come on her own, as organic as possible. But my entire third trimester, she only dilated 1 centimeter. So of course, every appointment I cried. And then one appointment, I was in so much pain. I guess it's the way she was positioned, or we don't know why. But I was rushed to the hospital because the doctor thought maybe it was time for Shylah to come. But Shylah wasn't ready. She stayed put. After I had to get needles in my butt cheeks again. Graphic, but this is my story. I had to get 2 IVs. I mean, I was just getting needles left and right for her not to come. And then I finally agreed when I just couldn't hold her anymore. I finally agreed to induce her after pushing the induction date back twice. And with that came a lot of guilt. I just felt like less of a woman, like I couldn't hold my baby till the end. It was a horrible feeling to force her to come out, but my body just couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take it anymore mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. It was just too much. So We went ahead with the induction. We went in on October 7th, and she did not come until October 9th. So, needless to say, I was in labor for 2 days. Shasha, you want to tell them about induction day? Huh? You want to tell them about our big day? No thinking. Yep. Sure was. Right, Mama? Sure was. Right. Same thing I was saying. Yeah. Okay. Induction day. So, on this day, my mom had she had came down about 2 days prior to because I needed her there. So it was my mom and Adrian that went to the hospital with me, and then Adrian's mom met us there. I was filled with so much anxiety. I was nervous. I was scared. I was happy. I was ready. I was not ready. I was relieved. I was not relieved. I was thankful. I felt guilty. I mean, I was an emotional, I don't even know what to call it. But I was excited as well. So many emotions at one time. We're on our way to get you up, baby girl. It's me, look at Grandma in the back, and your daddy. And your Nana's gonna meet us at the hospital. Don't mind my hair, girl. It's too hot. So, see you in, I guess a couple hours. All right, just come quick. Don't take too many days. All right? Love ya. So this is your hospital, Shylah boo. Okay, Grandma over there. We just got in, and I am dressed and ready for you. It's exciting. See you soon. So we did the Cervidil technique. I hope I'm saying it right. And that technique is a string with medicine on it that helps promote dilation. So they put it in you. Of course, the side that has the medicine on it, they put that side in and then leave enough so that they can take the string out with ease. Immediately, actually, when they put it in, I immediately started cramping, and then the cramps got worse and worse. I was trying so hard not to get an epidural, and I was praying that I didn't have to get Pitocin, but eventually I did have to get the epidural because I did have to get the Pitocin, just because I wasn't dilating fast enough with just the Cervidil. So that was, there's no pain like that. So needless to say, I was in labor from October 7th, the night of October 7th, to the morning of October 9th. I was finally, one of the nurses came in the morning of October 9th, and she said, at this point, we have to go ahead and break your water. My water didn't break. Shylah made no type of progress as far as coming out. So they had to break my water, which I didn't want them to do, but they had to do it anyway to keep Shylah and myself safe. And then I pushed. Finally, they told me to stop pushing. Because I couldn't feel anything, because I had waited to get the epidural, it was harder to push because I couldn't feel what I was pushing. So by the third hour, out of nowhere, I just saw like 20 nurses in the room, and I begged and begged and begged for a C-section, but my main doctor, Dr. Manning, she refused to give me a C-section. Her exact words were, a C-section would be stupid, and we don't do stupid things, because apparently Shyla's head was in a position where had they given me the C-section, they would have to push her back up to do the C-section. So that really would have been stupid. So they ended up having to suction Shylah out, which meant I had to push a little more to help them suction her out. You can Google how that works. I was devastated when I heard that they had to do that, but at that point, I'm just like, listen, just do what you need to do to get her out safely and quickly. So from the suctioning, I suffered third-degree tears, which are tears in the perineum area all the way to the rectum. At the time, I was under so many meds that I didn't feel anything while the stitching was going on, but I did know that the stitching took about a half an hour to 45 minutes for the doctor to stitch me up. So you can imagine just laying there, getting stitched up for that long. They rested Shylah on me for literally just a second because I didn't know that then, of course, but now her during the time that I was pushing and she was like stuck wherever she was, her heart rate began to increase, and my heart rate began to increase, and I had developed preeclampsia, and then I was developing a fever in the midst of all that. So they couldn't put her on me for too long, so they just wanted that initial touch with me, and then they rushed her to the area where they cleaned them up and all that good stuff. At first, I didn't hear her cry until about a minute later, so that was like the longest minute ever. But then she started crying, and it was the most beautiful sound ever. People say that makes you forget. It didn't make me forget because I was still out of it. I was under so many meds. I was weak. I was trembling. I was out of it. But that moment was worth every bit of everything I endured from day one.
She opened her eyes.
Feels good, Mama, doesn't it? You're doing great.
So after Shylah finally made her appearance at 8:35 a.m. on October 9th, 2018, my life literally changed drastically. Because of the tears, I was in so much pain. It was unbearable. All I could do was cry. There was no medication that helped because it was muscle tear. So even the muscle relaxers, all they did was put me to sleep so that I guess I wouldn't feel the pain, but then I'll wake up and feel the pain. I couldn't breastfeed due to the pain because I couldn't position myself in a way that was comfortable enough for me or Shylah to breastfeed. And then Shylah was gnawing on me, on my nipples, so it was just too much pain on top of dealing with the tears. And then I was on a lot of pain medication, so I didn't want that to transfer into Shylah. So I had to succumb to using formula, which was a very hard decision, but as long as Shylah was being fed, at that point, I was just like, whatever, formula it is.
Walmart to the rescue.
Walmart. Look at this little one. Oh, listen to that sound. You can hear it. Can you hear it?
So, after I got over the formula fiasco, I had to then cope with not being able to walk, not being able to stand, sit, or even hold my new baby. I didn't feel like a mom because I couldn't take care of her at all. The only thing I can do was just lay down and have someone put her in my arm and feed her a bottle. That's pretty much all I can do. I couldn't change her. I couldn't do anything else but hold her while I was laying down. I also endured urinary and fecal incontinence, which is involuntary urination and bowel movement. That was very stressful. It was very depressing. It was it was horrible. I felt horrible. Like I'm used to being in control of things, and my body, I just didn't have any control of my body. I had no control of anything at this point, which was huge because I'm a type A personality. I'm in my 30s. My whole life, well, in my whole adult life, I've been doing things my way, being in control of things that I wanted to do, and now I just had no control over anything, not even my body. So it was a very emotional time for me. Um, like I said, I didn't feel like a mom because I couldn't take care of Shylah, and it was just, I had the support. I did have my family. My mom came. We live in two different states, so she came and stayed for about 2 months. My dad came and stayed for a month. My sisters came when they could to help out. So I had the help. I had the support, but emotionally, I was just, I definitely had postpartum depression at an all-time high because of all the pain and then not being able to take care of my new baby. It was horrible. And then I had a couple of talks with God because I'm like, okay, Lord, I prayed for the exact opposite via my delivery, and you gave me literally the opposite of what I prayed for. But then I realized it was a journey for His glory, and now I have a story that I can share and be that light for someone going through what I went through, or will go through what I went through, or have gone through what I went through. And just to let you know that you are not alone, because it is a very isolating feeling when you look at your pregnancy as a sickness rather than a blessing. I hope my journey helps someone or will help someone who have been through it or will go through it. Just to let you know that you are not alone, even though my pregnancy or your pregnancy may be abnormal. It's more common than you think. And you can drop any resources or any questions you may have down in the comment section, and I'll be sure to respond. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll be sure to do the same. Until next time, bye-bye. So this is my first outfit. Yeah. My first outfit.